So we're going to be talking about place value. First, we're going to talk about whole numbers. So place value basically is talking about the position of the digit within a number will indicate the value of the digit. So what we see is in this example here, the position of 1, when it's a unit, it's valued of 1. When it's a 10, it's a value of 10. In 100, with the 1 is a value of 100. In the thousands, 10,000, 100,000. Okay? And what we see is as we go across, we're multiplying by 10. Okay? And as we're coming back, so as we're going to the left, we multiply 10 each time. As we're coming back, we divide by 10 each time. That is important when we come up to decimals, which is we'll do very soon. Okay, what I like to do with these is when we're talking about from the whole number perspective, okay, I like to give these positions. I like to give this position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's from when we're going left. That's important because when we go decimals, we go to the right. We'll talk about that in a moment, but from the left, I like to call it position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and however many need to go up. So the reason I like to do that is because I like to look at that. That's position 2. So that means it's a 10, so it's 3 10s. We're looking at the 3 again. That's in position 4. So we look at position 4 here. That's the thousands. This is position 1. Position 1 here has the units. So that means we can just say that's 3 units. Now, what's important down here, in this point here, is that if I've got, say, two numbers, 6231 and 6222, what we've got to look at here is we look at the biggest number first, 6. They're the same. So we go to the next biggest number, which is 2, which is in the hundreds, but they're both 2. So we go to the next biggest number, place value, which is the tens, and we're looking, we've got a 3 and a 2. So that means that one, because that's bigger than the 2, that means that is the largest. Okay? So when we look at decimals is if we've got values smaller than the units, we need to put a decimal point in. Okay? And so the decimal points are to the right of the decimal point. Now, as I said before, each time when you go into the right, you're dividing by 10. So we continue to divide by 10 for here, divide by 10, dividing by 10 again, dividing by 10, etc. Okay, now, like the other time, from the going to the right side, from where the decimal point is, so from the right of where the unit is, I like to number it as well. So I like to call that number 1, position 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially we've got a 5 and a 6. So let's look at where the 3 is here. The 3 is in position 1 from to the right of the decimal, and that means it's a tenth. So there's 3 tenths. The position 3 here is in position 3. That means it's a thousandths. So that's how we can look at it. This is in position 5, and as we can see, I haven't got a 5 here, but if that was position 5, that would be 1 over 100,000. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got some questions here that we're going to do. All right, so in this question here, the idea is you are expanding the notation. So you're going to write that as 50,000. That represents the 5 plus 9 as a 9,000 plus where the 1 is in the hundreds position, so that's 100 plus this where the 7 is in the 10, so that's 70 plus 6. Now when we come to B, we go 108, so the 1, so it's 108,009. So the 1 is in the 100,000 position, so we're at 100,000. They've got 0, so we don't have anything there in the 10,000s. In the thousands, so we've got an 8, so we put 8,000. In the hundreds and the tens, we don't have anything, but in the 9, we do. We have a unit, so we write 9. Okay. What we write here for this one here, for 3.4501, we look at the 3 again. That's in a unit, so we call that 3. Okay. The 4 is in a tenths position, so we go 4 over 10. The 5 is in the hundredths position, so we go 5 divided by 100. 0 is in the 1,000, so we go 0 divided by 1,000. Plus, the last one is in the 10,000, so we go 10,000. Okay, for this next set of questions, I'm going to get you to do a quiz, some multiple choice answers first. So I'm going to let you go do that, and when you come back, we'll go through the answers. Okay, we're back now. So what we're going to look at here is for where the 7 is. It's in the first position from the decimal point. That means it's 7 over 10. The 7 here is in the second position. So remember, the second position to the right of the decimal place is 100. So I'm going to go 7 over 100. And this one here, it's in the third position. So it's going to be 7 over. The third position to the right of decimal place is 1,000. So it's going to be 7 over 1,000. Okay. Now we're going to write the following numbers in descending order. Descending order means going from biggest to smallest. Okay, it's like going down the stairs. Okay, so what we've got to look at here is we look at the because there's no decimals here, so we're looking for the most digits. I've got 4 digits, 4 digits. So I've got to look at the furthest left, so that's going to look at the 8 and the 5. 8's bigger, so 8 will be the biggest number. So 8, 5, 8, 8. Then we'll be followed by 5, 8, 8. Okay, the next step is to look at 858 and 855. Why? Because they got 3 digits in them. So that means 858 is, I'm going to have to look at the furthest left digits. That's 100 in the hundredths position. So I've got an 8. I've got an 8 there as well. So look in the 10th position, I've got a 5. So that means 50. Got a 5 again. Now look in the 8th position. Sorry, in the units position, I've got an 8 and I've got a 5. So that means 858 is going to be bigger. 858, then 855. That leaves us with these two numbers. So we're looking at 10's position because that's the furthest left at the moment. And I've got a 5 and an 8. So clearly 85 is going to be bigger than 58. Okay. So let's look at comparing decimals now. We've basically been doing a lot of comparing decimals as it is. Okay, so it's not something, you know, very different, but something to keep in mind. So when we're looking at decimal, if it's got a whole number part, so I've got 6.434. Okay, you've got to look at the whole number part. So if I've got a number where it says 6.245, I've still got to look at the whole number first. Okay. In this case, if we look at the whole number first, what we find is that they're the same. Okay. Then we've got the decimal. So now we're looking to the right of the decimal. So something to keep in mind here, this has 3 numbers. This has 2. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay. So we're looking in the 10th position now. I've got a 3 and I've got a 2. What that's saying is the 3 is bigger than the 2, so that's actually a bigger number. Okay. This is a smaller number, even though I have I've got 3 decimal places there, and this has only got 2. But it's when we look at the place value, we see that this number is the bigger one. Okay. Let's have another quick look at some questions to work through. We can look at these ones here. Okay. What we're looking at basically is, say we're going to put it in descending order. Okay. That means we're looking for the biggest number first. So we're looking at 10th position because we don't even have any whole numbers. So we've got a 5, a 6, a 6. That means that's going to be 0.506 is the smallest. Okay. We'll put that in a moment. Then I've got a 0.6 and then a 0.6. The next to that in the hundredth position, I've got a 0 and a 1. That means that is the 0.612 is the biggest. then it's 0.605, and then it's 0.506. Okay. This is the last lot of questions, and again, I'm going to get you to do some multiple choice questions first. So go ahead and do those, and then we'll be back. All right, welcome back. So what we've got to do here is find the largest number in the following numbers. So again, so let's look at the first example here. Okay, we haven't got any whole numbers there. So what we're looking at is in the tens position. Okay. So clearly I've got a 1, a 2, and a 1. That indicates that this is the biggest number. So 0.216 is the biggest number because in the tenth position, it has the highest number. So let's look at question B. Okay, so now we have to take into account the whole number. So I've got a 2, a 2, and a 2. It's fine. That means they're all got the same number there. It means we're now got to go to the tens position. So I've got to go to the tens. I've got a 3, a 3, and a 1. It means I can count that one out because the 3s are bigger. Then I've got to look in the hundreds position. I've got an 8 and an 8. Still not helping because they're the same. Then I've got a 4 in the thousands position, and then I've got an 8. Because the 8 is bigger than 4, that means 2.388 is the biggest number. So when we look at these symbols, that means less than. That means bigger than or greater than. Slash, I'm going to put greater because that's the terms we use, greater than. Okay, so what it's saying, we look at the decimals and say which one is bigger or smaller than the other. So I've got 0.312 and 0.0318. So again, I've got to look in the tenths position, 3, 3 to hundreds position, I've got a 1, 1. In the thousands position, I've got a 2 and an 8. That means 0.312 is less than 0.318. Now I look at in B, I've got a 0 for the tenths position on both. In the hundreds position, I've got a 2. In the hundreds position, I've got a 1. That means 0.0246 is actually larger. So it's greater than. Okay. All right. That's it for today. Thank you very much. Bye.